Hi, BJ with Inspect and Check. In today's video, I'm going to go over 3 of the most important safety concerns, but you could usually fix them relatively easy. So the first one we're going to start with is high decks, okay? Lower decks like this that are sitting on the ground are not as much of an issue as these higher ones. With these higher ones, my biggest fear is I see a lot of times that they're not properly secured to the home. I want to make sure that the ledger board, which is the board that attaches to the home, is bolted properly, as well as we have joist hangers. And then ideally we'd like to see 6x6 posts. Now these ones behind me here are actually 4x4. They'll probably be fine for this particular deck. It's small, it's not too much of a load on there, but ideally we'd like to see 6x6 posts on something like this. I'd rather see something over-engineered than under-engineered, or maybe kind of questionable. Simply add more lag bolts to the ledger board into the house. You're going to screw into the, you're going to have to find the studs and screw into the studs and bolt it and securely fasten it. Adding joist hangers, they're just metal hangers that go underneath the cross members, the joists, and then they nail into the header board. And then if you wanted to beef up the posts, you could simply bolt on another 4x4 post next to these two right here. Next is going to be stairways and railings. So a lot of times the handrail is either loose or missing, which just entails adding one in. We want to make sure that we have a nice graspable handrail, okay? Try to stay away from something that's too wide that may be hard for somebody to grab onto in case they lose their balance. And then balusters. So like these right here, these balusters are too far apart. Typically we'd like to see less than 4 inches so that this way an infant or a toddler cannot stick their head in here, or even worse, maybe fall down into the stairway. It would just be a matter of adding more balusters in to close up that gap in between them. Third is going to be having no GFI protection in a wet location, such as kitchens, bathrooms, your garage. Basements would be nice, like, you know, around mechanical systems, and then outside. So GFIs are special rectangle outlets that are an added layer of security that should an electrical appliance or device fall into the water or come in contact with water, that it shuts off the power instantaneously. 5 milliamps, which is very minor change in current, is all that is needed to trip one of these GFI outlets. This one is pretty easy as long as you have a little bit of mechanical background. You don't have to be an electrician. However, before you do anything, always turn off the circuit breaker, and then once you turn off the circuit breaker, confirm that you don't have any power. So whether it's an outlet tester like this, or you have a power tester where you put a hot and neutral probes and then a light lights up and lets you know if you have power. But once you kill the circuit breaker, make sure that you don't have any power before you start doing anything. And as you go along and you pull that outlet out, be careful. There's going to more than likely be other wires in there that could be live on a different circuit. So if you're going to tackle any electrical, please be careful and make sure that everything is turned off. Now, it's just as simple as taking out that regular outlet that's in place and buying a GFCI, is the technical term. I say GFIs, but it's a GFCI outlet that you could find in any electrical department at any home improvement store that you like to shop at. Now there are 15 amp and 20 amp outlets, so you're going to want to see what you have. In this particular kitchen, there's 15 amp, and how I can tell that is when I look at the outlets, I'm seeing just a regular outlet here, okay? The 20 amp outlets on this longer slot right here will have a slot coming off of it looking like a T, okay? 20 amp outlets have that T style slot there. That's how you can tell the difference, and you're going to want to make sure that you replace, if you're taking out a 20 amp outlet, that you're replacing it with a 20 amp GFI. These 3 items are relatively simple to fix. If you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to go hiring a licensed trade. Typically a handyman can take care of all of these three issues and fix them for you, should the seller not want to.